Hey guys, welcome back to another Plan with me. This week I'm planning from May 29th to June 4th, and I'm using this kit from Rose Printables, I believe is the name of the shop, on Etsy. And it's clearly a Pride kit. I don't remember the exact name, but I ended up getting this kit very last minute because originally I was not planning on using a Pride kit this year. Just nothing was really sparking my interest, and for once I have more than enough summer kits, so I really didn't need one. But then I ended up going to my first ever Pride parade. I actually missed the parade, but my first ever Pride. We went to Philly Pride on Sunday, and it was sort of a big deal because we brought my best friend / roommate's cousin with us to his first Pride, and just sort of like his first ever experience, just like being around, like accepting people, so it was a pretty big deal. And in my opinion, it needed a Pride kit. So I didn't have time to buy anything other than a printable, and I did get this during my no buy, so it just made sense to get a printable. I was struggling to find something that I liked because for whatever reason, the Pride artwork that I was seeing a lot this year was a little too cool toned for me. I don't even know how to explain. That sounds silly, but I wanted something a little more primary, if that makes sense. Like I wanted it to be like rainbow, and so I found this and I really liked it. The only thing I will say is I am not a fan of all of the glitter headers being red, orange, yellow, green. Like I need either a blue or a purple, preferably a blue in there. You know what I mean? Like it reminds me of Fanta, or what are those, like Good and Plenty's or something. It just doesn't, it doesn't look rainbow enough for me. However, because this was a printable, you get like all the extras. It just comes with more than enough, and it had a bunch of this ombre rainbow washi and labels, and so I was able to pull in blue and purple by using the labels and stuff as much as possible. I usually don't use all of the patterned items in a kit. I tend to not like them that much, but in this kit I needed them, and I really like how it turned out. I'm still missing that blue, purple, even pink in the glitter headers. This kit would have made my life if the glitter headers were ombre rainbow. That would have made my life, but can't have what you want, so that's okay. I still love it, and I'm really happy with this kit. And I didn't even print like half of what came with it. It was insane. And I managed to figure out how to get like all of the sheets that I wanted, like combine them before I printed. So I was able to minimize the number of sheets that I needed to print. So that was cool. All in all, love how this turned out. I also had to include 2 day extenders in this spread because we just did so much this weekend. And even with these little half day extenders, I did leave a couple things out. Just there was not space for everything. It was a very busy weekend. I have had a lot of busy weekends, and I am really looking forward to a relaxing one. I don't know when that's coming. Not this weekend, but hopefully soon. But anyway, I don't know if there's anything else worth noting other than Pride. Monday was Labor Day and I had the day off. That was awesome, but yeah, besides that, it's pretty much business as usual. So without further ado, let's just get into the day by day. Starting with Monday, the first thing I marked was that I got to relax finally, which was much needed. And I used this good day sticker. I don't know the last time I've used one of these, if ever, because I just never feel like I've had a good day, which is stupid. I have a lot of good days. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I have a lot of good days. I have a decent life, but I don't know. I'm just constantly stressed, and it was just so nice to wake up and have an extra day off. And then TMI as usual, but I marked that I finally went. And if you guys remember from my last 2 spreads, I had some sort of stomach virus / food poisoning, most likely food poisoning, and I got violently ill. But ever since that happened Sunday night, I hadn't gone to the bathroom. So I had 7 full days of food in me, and I was starting to feel real uncomfortable. And then followed that up by doing the litter and the trash. It didn't come on Monday because of the holiday, so I had to put it out for Tuesday. And then I headed to Joe's and we walked to Shake Shack to get the buy one, get one free like happy hour shake deal that they have pretty much every summer, I think. And then we went back to his place and tried to tackle some of the mess in his back room. He just has a lot of items that he needs to sell on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. So we started organizing some of that, and that honestly, like, it took so long that we couldn't really watch a long show. So we just watched an episode of Jury Duty, and then I went to bed and managed to read a little bit of my book before I fell asleep. And I was so happy to finally use this super old Scribble Prints Co. scribbler, because I've had this sticker for years, and she's just so colorful that she never really went with a spread until now, and I think it just worked out really well, especially because I was trying to use a lot of washi in this spread, so very happy with that. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked was that I took the bus to work, because since I had a holiday on Monday, I went into the office on Tuesday, and I worked an 11-hour day because I was still making up the time from my sick day, and I had a lot of time to make up, and I decided that this was the week. Like, I didn't want to work any more long days, so I had to get it done this week, and in order to do that, I had to work some really long hours. And then I wrote, "I'm not alone," and the reason that was a problem was because I thought I was going to have the office to myself because my boss was, like, out of town on vacation or something like that. I can't remember. And I have another coworker who comes into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but he doesn't need to. And I was hoping he would take Tuesday to work from home after like maybe partying on Monday. At least that was my hope. But alas, he showed up at 8:30 and he was there. He's a super nice guy, but like when you're having stomach issues, you don't really want someone popping in and out of the office. You know what I mean? So that sucked. By the end of the night or the day, like my stomach cramps were insane, just sharp shooting pains, just terrible. If you know, you know. I also treated myself to Starbucks for lunch this day. I have not had a Starbucks panini in years, and I've had like $25 in gift card money just like sitting there for an emergency, and today was definitely that day. I was so nauseous, and I think I brought a Quest bar to work this day. I did get a tip from Rosie from Rosie's Plans to microwave the Quest bars, and that makes them a little better. But this day I didn't do that, and it just made me feel so sick that I like stopped eating it. I couldn't even finish it, and I had to get something to settle my stomach. So got a Starbucks panini. And then I believe Joe picked me up, but I didn't mark it, and we went to Royal Farms for the last free Rofo meal. I think I got wedges and he got a meal, and that was it. He was like, I think he had one more day until the points expired, and I think he went back on Wednesday and got one more meal. He really used all of the points. Then I marked that we got into an argument, and I'm not kidding, I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. I remember being at Royal Farms. I remember like going home and watching Yellow Jackets. I can't remember what the argument was about, but probably something dumb. But yeah, we got over that and watched Yellow Jackets, and then he cut up a watermelon and we ate watermelon, which is just always worth marking. It's like probably my favorite fruit besides peaches and nectarines, and it's really a summer thing, so definitely worth noting. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked was that it was payday. Again, just a way to get more blue into the spread and some more rainbow. And then I worked another 11-hour day, which it was really getting to me working these extra hours. But got to do what you got to do. It's worth it to have the extra day off. And then I marked that I did the litter. And then I went through my finances this day. And, excuse me, burped. And my bank statements from like before I started this job, and I tallied it up, and I have actually saved much more than I thought I did, which is both good and bad. It's good because that means I'm way more fiscally responsible than I thought I was, and I can like chill out a little bit. I have so much anxiety about money right now, just with this like move potentially looming over my head. We'll talk about that later. And then also bad news, because that just means that I went through more of my savings at the end of 2022 when I was basically out of work than I thought I did. But either way, still good news. We're doing well, but student loans and moving are about to destroy that. So I'll be fine. But anyway, then I just marked that I cleaned the apartment, and then I had the most lovely chat with, oh my gosh, I always forget her name. I want to say it's Canada Planner Girl. Alex from Canada Planner Girl. I always want to say Canada Girl Plans, but that's not it. But anyway, we just talked a little bit about like random stuff, and it was just lovely. It was lovely. She is a wonderful human. Then after that, that's a lie. I did my workout before we spoke, but it didn't work with the colors I wanted to use, so I swapped them. But then I just did a back and chest workout, and then I planned. And that was it for Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked was, of course, that I worked. And on my break, I decided to go walk to Aldi to get some groceries. So I did that. And then I marked that it was the first day I was wearing shorts, at least in public. I wear them around my apartment all the time because it gets really hot in here. But first time wearing shorts in public this year. It's always very exciting because I hate pants. Like, I love pants, but like I hate them. They're not as comfortable as shorts. Anyway, then I went for a run, and Janet this day was a stage 5 clinger. She would not leave me alone. She was all over me. There was so much cat hair stuck to my face in my sunscreen and all over my computer, and like everywhere I went, she followed me, which is so adorable, but like I have to work to support the two of us. So she was on another level. She always comes over 2 to 3 times a day to like sit in my lap and say hello between her naps. But this was like she didn't nap all day. She just like hung out. It was crazy. Because I was home the day before. She's not even this insane after I've been away for the weekend or something. But yeah, she was just obsessed. And then I worked on my mini a little bit this night. And then this was the night that I accidentally deleted a voiceover that I had already re-recorded and was happy with. I just felt so stupid. I have not deleted a file since because I'm just traumatized. But yeah, I did that. And then I watched some YouTube way too late. But anyway, moving on to Friday, I marked that I was just up so early because I had a dermatology appointment. That's also why I had to work like so much overtime, because not only did I have to make up for the day of work I missed, so that was like 8 hours of overtime that I had to do, but I also wanted to get at least an hour and a half of overtime ahead of my appointment in case it ran late, because the last thing I want to do is make it up on a Friday. You know, like I just want to be done. So anyway, I was up super early and it was great. Like I only took longer, what am I trying to say? I'm getting tongue-tied. Basically, the whole experience driving there, the appointment, and back was only an hour, which is amazing. Like even parking, everything, just an hour. So I only needed 30 minutes of extra overtime for that. So I still got out early. It was great. I had more than made up for that during the week. So I didn't have to do any overtime on Friday. It was lovely. But my appointment was at 8:30 in the morning. So we were up pretty late because I wanted to start work at 7 and use part of my break. Like if I went before work, it wouldn't count towards my break, if that makes sense. And I wanted to use the 30 minutes of my break. So anyway, and then I was just excited because my growth is gone. Unfortunately, it's not completely resolved. Like it looks like there's a lot of like old blood stuck under my skin or some sort of weird mole stuck under my skin. I'm not sure. I do have a follow-up appointment on September 5th, so she can address it then. I'm looking forward to another copay. That'll be fun. Then I just marked that I worked and I cleaned my apartment, and then I got ready because I was going to a show this evening. I was so busy this weekend. I forgot about this show until just now. So I got ready, and then it was 92 degrees outside. So I decided I was going to take the bus, but the bus, the final stop was still an 11-minute walk from where I was meeting up with people. So it didn't do me any good. I still showed up sweating like a pig, and it would have just been like less than a 30-minute walk. I wish I had just walked the whole way instead of taking the bus, because I still showed up beet red and sweating, just covered in, because there was no shade. I was just walking in the sun for 11 minutes, and then I show up to this couple's house and I just look like a disgusting sweaty rat. But anyway, so I marked that I took the bus and still sweat. And then the place I was meeting up, so Joe was playing a show, and his soccer team, one of the couples on his soccer team, has a place pretty much around the corner from the venue. So we all met up there for some drinks and pizza. And then we all went to Joe's show. And then it was really fun because there were so many people I knew at the show. Like, he had gotten, no joke, like 30 people to come just for him. And it's not his band. He's just playing guitar in the band. But so many people showed up. I think he felt a little awkward because the band he was playing in was like taking attention away from the headliner, just because he had so many people. Like, his whole soccer team came, and then 2 other friend groups came. Like, a lot of people came. But yeah, so I just marked just so many friends, and we were out until like 2:30 in the morning. And I knew that was going to happen. It was just such a long day, and I knew I had a really long weekend ahead of me, so there was just no rest happening. So then moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked was that I woke up at 9:30 in the morning and just hung out with Janet. She was feeling really cuddly, so I just scrolled on my phone and we just laid in bed together. It was lovely. Then I got my ass up and did a run, and then was just, I don't know, high on endorphins. I don't really think that's a thing for me, but I called my grandma, and then I did a voiceover. And then my roommate came with her cousin. She had been away for the week, and I was kind of bummed because she was supposed to come with me to the show on Friday, but that's fine. She decided to skip it so that she could drive her cousin into the city, because he's only 16, so he couldn't drive himself. And yeah, so we did so much, but the things that I marked were that we actually went to 2 Targets, but I only marked one. We walked to our local Target just to see if they had any Pride stuff, but it's a little city Target, so it didn't have anything. And then we went to dinner, but I had to swap the order of these items. So we went to dinner and we met Joe. He came, and then the 4 of us did the museum steps, because you got to take everybody to the museum steps. And then we drove to South Philly to check the Target down there for Pride stuff. They didn't really have anything that great. And then where did we go? We went to Marshall's, and then we just showed her cousin the quote-unquote Titanic. If you've ever been to Philly and you've been in South Philly, you know what I'm talking about. There's like this huge ship that's sort of like semi-shipwrecked just in the distance. Like, you'll be in the Target parking lot and you just see this massive boat that looks like the Titanic in the distance. It's pretty cool. So we did that, which is really not doing anything. You just drive by it. And then we all came back to our place and we watched Bring It On, which that movie has just, I will watch that movie until the day I die. It's so good. Is there a Bring It On planner kit? Because that's an idea. Somebody do that, please, after Golden Girls. Golden Girls is still my number one. Moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked was that my roommate's other cousin, who is an adult, he and his boyfriend came to our apartment to meet us, and then we all walked to the neighborhood together. So we just walked towards Woody's, and it's so funny, like, we all sort of feel a little out of place because, like, we're dressed in, like Pride gear and whatever, and there's nobody, not a soul. And then you finally, like, get a couple blocks away from Woody's, and then you see the pasties and the fishnets, and then you feel like you're underdressed, you know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. So I just marked that we went to Philadelphia Pride with everybody, and I mean everybody, because how many were there? There were 5 of us, and we met up with Joe and 3 others. So altogether, there were 9 of us hanging out at Pride. It was so much fun. And we got lunch, we got pizza. We ended up going to a real restaurant to sit because my roommate's cousin's boyfriend had, like, a bad back, and he just needed to, like, sit and eat, which ended up being the best. We all just sat at this huge table and talked and ate pizza. It was great. And then we went back to Pride and we just like watched people dance and just looked at everybody's crazy outfits, and we danced. It was just so much fun. And I didn't have room to market, but we got free Red Bull. I've never gotten free Red Bull from those little Red Bull cars that you always see around like campuses and cities and stuff, but they gave me 2. I was so excited. Even though I'm weaning myself off, I still drink it. So I was very excited about that. And then Joe ended up driving the 3 other people who met us. He drove them home. Or no, the one guy lived in Rittenhouse, so he just walked. But anyway, doesn't matter. So we said goodbye to all of them. And then the 5 of us walked back to our apartment. We walked so much this day, like 4 miles or something. Or 5 miles. Or no, I think it was 6. It doesn't matter. I digress. Anyway, on the walk back, we grabbed ice cream. And then the plot twist, we get back to our apartment. We like say our goodbyes. And then my roommate is going to go drive her cousin back home. And her car is gone. Her car was stolen. Her car was stolen. And I don't know if any of you guys know this, but Hyundais and Kias are apparently very easy to steal. And there are a ton of TikTok videos that show you how to steal them. And she had a Hyundai. So, yeah, her car got stolen. Apparently, the company has done like a software update to negate that, but her car had just gotten broken into like 2 weeks before. So even if you have the software update, I imagine people will still smash your window to try to steal your car. So either way, you're going to have at least a smashed window. So anyway, there's like what do you call it? I can't remember the word, but there's a lawsuit out against Hyundai. Because, you can basically start the car with like a plastic fork, essentially. The cop who we spoke to said he started the car with a spoon, I think. So that happened. And then, so I like ended up hanging out at home much later than I thought I was going to, because I was going to go meet up with Joe. But it ended up being okay because my friend's older cousin with the boyfriend was able to drive her younger cousin home because she didn't have a car, and I really didn't want to do it because I had to work in the morning. And it's an hour and a half away, so it would have been a 3-hour round trip for me. And she was just going to like go and stay, so she was going to drive the hour and a half and then stay in New Jersey. I would have had to drive a 3-hour round trip. So that was just, they just offered and they were like, no, we're taking him. It's fine. It's totally fine. We'll take him. So that was good. So after like we spoke to the cops and she was like settled and, just wanted to be alone, I packed up my stuff and went to Joe's to watch TV and go to sleep. So, that was everything. It was definitely a crazy weekend. Sorry if I went everything sort of like quickly. I was remembering as I was talking because I did this spread so long ago that I didn't remember like half of what we did. But that's another thing I like about planning is, oh yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, this is the week her car got stolen. Totally forgot about that. But yeah, so that was sort of like a shitty end to the weekend. But the bottom line is that her little cousin had like the time of his life. He loved it. He definitely wanted to come back. He like wants to move to Philly now. He just had a really good time. So that's the most important thing. But yeah, anyway, that wraps up this spread. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.